When Ford revived the FX4 nameplate back in 2020, it came with a few bits and pieces that made it look off-roady, but it didn't really live up to the original FX4's nameplate. Well, it seems that Ford has finally seen the light because we now have the Ranger FX4 Max, a true off-roading pickup deserving of the original FX4's nameplate. With its macho stance and its true off-road capabilities, does this smaller and easy-to-drive FX4 Max make more sense than, let's say, the Ford Ranger Raptor? Well, it's time for us to find out. Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another truck review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you click that subscribe button and become part of the Reagan Strides family. If you're my subscriber already, thank you so much for your support by watching this video. I truly appreciate it. Also, special thanks to Ford Philippines for lending us this Ranger FX4 Max for a few days to do this on-road review. When I filmed my Ranger Raptor review back in 2020, I mentioned that I had a man crush on that behemoth of a stock pickup truck, but it was simply too large to fit in my garage. But it seems that many other people sharing the same sentiment where they want to have a Ranger Raptor, but it's just too big, so Ford came out with this Ranger variant. The Ford Ranger FX4 Max is essentially a Ranger Raptor at 80% of the size, but with 90% of the off-road capability. The good news here is this FX4 Max comes in at a lower price than the king of the Ranger Hill, with an SRP of only 1,758,000 Philippine pesos. Now, that is a truly compelling price, and it may even be enough to steal some of the thunder from the Ford Ranger Raptor. Now, the first thing you'll notice when you look at the front fascia of the FX4 Max is this Ford Super Truck front grille. You see, Ford only bestows this grille on its performance trucks, and it seems that the FX4 Max has earned such a distinction. Now, if you're still skeptical about its off-road capability, you may click the link above and watch my video with this beast on an off-road trail. Now, the FX4 Max deletes all of the unnecessary stuff and gives us only the essentials that you need for an off-roader and a workhorse pickup. The Max gets these halogen headlights and fog lights, and you won't find any fancy LED DRLs here. You won't get any chrome as well because the chrome bits have been painted into this gunmetal color because the FX4 Max doesn't need chrome to look good. Now, you also get a steel front plate here which protects the underside of the engine, but we don't get exposed recovery points or even a frame-mounted front bumper similar to the Ford Ranger Raptor. Now, that leaves some room for modification, especially for those hardcore off-roady bunch. The FX4 Max looks like a modified Ranger XLT when you view it from the side profile. Now, it doesn't get the 6-inch wide flared fenders that can be found in the Ranger Raptor, but mind you, without those flared fenders, this Max is easier to drive on narrow city roads as well as narrow trails. Now, the FX4 Max gets the same tubular steel sports bar here that can be found in the other FX4 variants, but to differentiate it from its lower brethren, we also have a sticker that says FX4 Max mounted on the side of the truck bed. Now, we also have these off-roady step boards here that have been designed so that it won't really affect the breakover angle of this pickup truck. Now, the good thing about the FX4 Max is that it also inherits the same wheel and tire combo that can be found in the Ranger Raptor. These are 32-inch BF Goodrich tires wrapped around a 17-inch gunmetal wheel. Now, behind those wheels, we get the same brake setup as a Ranger XLT. These are ventilated disc up front, but only drum brakes at the rear end. The suspension, however, is a bit similar to a Ranger Raptor because we get the same Fox dampers in this FX4 Max, but the Fox dampers here are 2-inch in diameter versus the 2.5 inches in the Ranger Raptors. However, the other suspension difference is the fact that we have a double wishbone front suspension up front and a traditional leaf spring at the back, which means that this thing would have a higher payload and towing capacity than the Ranger Raptor. However, the leaf springs have been tuned for longer travel, so that would make for a much more comfortable ride. Now, the truck bed is where this FX4 Max completely destroys the Ranger Raptor. You see, the Ranger Raptor may be big and beefy and muscular, but that's just about it. It has a dismal towing and payload capacity that relegates it to being just a pure lifestyle truck. However, this Ranger FX4 Max has the same towing capacity that can be found in the other Rangers in the lineup at 3,500 kilos. Now, that's 1,000 kilos higher than what the Ranger Raptor can do. Its payload capacity is also pretty good at almost 1,000 kilos, which completely defeats the Ranger Raptor's payload capacity. So it's quite clear that even if this FX4 Max has superb off-roading capabilities, it is also balanced out to be a really good workhorse pickup truck. Now, you also get a standard bed liner here, which is always a good thing, but we don't get the 12-volt auxiliary port that can be found in the Ranger Wildtrak. Well, it's not really a big issue. Now, the liftgate of the FX4 Max is not assisted, and as you can see, it's also not a locking liftgate, making it pretty similar to its other FX4 brethren. The FX4 Max is equipped with the same engine that can be found in the Ranger Raptor and the Wildtrak 4x4. This is a 2-liter bi-turbo engine that is good for 210 horses and 500 Newton meters of torque. Now, engine-wise, this FX4 Max can take the fight to the other off-roading pickup trucks like the Toyota Hilux Conquest or the Navara Pro4x. However, this motor is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, which in my opinion seems to be a few gears too many for an off-roading workhorse pickup truck. I find that the older 6-speed automatic transmission to be more confident whenever you're putting down those low-end maximum torque when you're hauling a lot of stuff. Now, the good thing here is the FX4 Max is also equipped with a rear locking differential, which is an essential feature for serious off-roading trucks. It also has an upgraded alternator here that can handle 250 amperes, which is perfect whenever you want to install aftermarket modifications like a power winch or even an LED light bar. Now climb into the Ranger FX4 Max cockpit and you'll see that it's the same standard Ranger cockpit that we've seen in the rest of the Ranger lineup and even the Everest SUV. Now, the seats of the FX4 Max is a combination of leather and Alcantara, and it's got a nice FX4 Max logo that's embossed on the seat back. The steering wheel is nicely wrapped in leather, and it's a nice soft steering wheel, and we've got the usual hands-free buttons here for connectivity and also cruise control. However, when you try to adjust the steering wheel, you'll see that it only tilts, and it doesn't really telescope, guys, so it's a bit of a bummer. Now, when you look at the instrument gauge cluster here, it's the same gauge cluster found in the higher-end Rangers with the speedo right in the center, and it's flanked by 2 colored LED display panels that shows you your car's vital information. Now, unique to the FX4 Max is the fact that we've got an array of auxiliary ports here on the top of the dashboard that is meant for aftermarket tuners who want to add, well, some more modifications to their FX4 Max, like a winch, or let's say an LED light bar. Now, normally, if you don't have this auxiliary bank here, well, these off-roaders, these tuners, they'll have to drill holes into the dashboard, which we don't really like to see. So Ford solved that problem by giving the FX4 Max this auxiliary bank. Now, when you go to the infotainment system, we've got the same 8-inch infotainment system here that has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Ford's MySync 3. However, we don't get a reverse camera despite the price of this Ranger FX4 Max. I mean, come on, Ford. This is a huge truck, and a reverse camera is a must-have in all vehicles above 1 million Philippine pesos. Now, I'd gladly trade that Ford MySync 3 if you could just give this FX4 Max a reverse camera. Granted, it's a cheap aftermarket fix, but yeah, why would I do that if I could just get it from the factory, right? Now anyway, let's move over to the climate control system. We've got a nice and cold climate control system here. It's fully automatic, and we've got several other charging ports here. We've got a 12-volt outlet and a couple of USBs. Now we also have here the knob that switches your four-wheel drive modes, and of course the gear shifter that is mated to your 10-speed automatic transmission. We've got a usual regular handbrake here and a couple of cup holders which always passes my clean canteen test. This is a Ford, guys, and well, we'll try it again. This is my clean canteen. Bam! Yeah, it passes with flying colors. Now we've got a nice center armrest here that's leather wrapped, so that's a nice soft touch there. And if you look at the entire layout of the cockpit, this is pretty typical of a Ford Ranger. It's a combination of durable materials plus some nice soft touch areas in the high traffic areas. Now I've done several reviews of Ford Rangers in the past, and I can tell you that the backseat of the Ford Ranger FX4 Max has got to be the most spacious backseat amongst all of the mainstream pickup trucks that I've reviewed so far. I'm 5'6", guys, and as you can see, this is my driving position, and I've got a good 7 inches of knee room before my knee touches the seat back of the driver. For headroom, I got a decent 5 inches of headroom, so this is truly a spacious place for, well, an average size Asian like myself. You could sit 3 of me across here, and it's still going to be quite comfortable. However, for toys, well, the FX4 Max eschews on these fancy toys at the back. We do get a 12-volt charging outlet here, but we don't get rear AC vents. But at least Ford also throws in a center armrest with dual cup holders. Now the seat itself also folds up in case you have some, some stuff that you need to put here inside your cab and well, store it here. But otherwise, guys, aside from ISOFIX anchors, there's no other toys that can be found here in the FX4 Max. Now, I've taken this beast out on an off-road trail, but this time around, let's see how it performs and behaves on civilized roads. Alright guys, so we're now behind the wheel of the Ford Ranger FX4 Max, and we are on civilized roads. I'm inside the central business district right here in Makati, and I've driven several Rangers and Everest SUVs already in the past, but I just have to say, guys, that even in this FX4 Max configuration, the Ranger FX4 Max has a really nice suspension for a pickup truck. It's not jittery, it's not bone-jarring. It feels like I'm just driving a regular pickup-based SUV. And that's what I love about these Ranger trucks. Visibility is what you'd expect from a Ranger pickup truck. And that means that you're seated really high up over the road. And wow, you've got a commanding view of everything around you. I got a decent level of visibility up front and a good amount of side visibility as well. Now the steering feel of the Ranger is on point. It's a bit light for a truck, but at least it's got a little bit of feedback in it. Now when I took it off-roading in the mountains of Tanay Rizal, it was a bit numb when I'm going over those rocks and over those river beds, but at least it's still on point, and I'm able to steer this quite accurately, because you really need accuracy when you're going through all of those rocks and sand and mud and all that. Now on the road, the steering feel, because of its lightness, makes it such an easy truck to drive. You don't have to wrestle with the wheel, and you don't have to fight the truck as I'm going through these paved roads. And that's always a good thing, because most of these off-roady lifestyle trucks would be spending like 80 to 90% of their time on paved roads anyway. Now as we enter the highway here, I could tell you that the 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine pulls very efficiently. It's not losing its breath at all. In fact, we're already at the speed limit now, so I just gotta keep it cool, keep it calm, guys. Now I love the fact that despite having 32-inch BF Goodrich tires on this beast, I mean, on the highway, we're driving on the asphalt now, and we're going at near the speed limit. We're at around 80 kilometers per hour, and I don't hear too much tire noise. These BF Goodrich tires are really the real deal, guys. I mean, it's crazy. Normally, these off-road tires, these all-terrain tires, they'd be quite noisy flapping around on the highway, but that's not the case for the Ranger FX4 Max. And since these are the same wheel and tire combo that can be found in the Ranger Raptor, the same could be said for the larger Ranger Raptor. We're going to have a nice and quiet experience on the highway despite sporting all-terrain tires. Wow! Now, I did mention that the 10-speed automatic transmission found in this FX4 Max is a few gears too many, but if you are on the highway like what we're doing now, it would just go all the way up to the highest gear, thus helping you save on your fuel. This is a nice relaxing drive, and at highway speeds like this, the 10-speed automatic transmission doesn't gear hunt like it normally would when you're going through like inclines or downhill and stuff like that. If you're on a nice flat paved road like this 10-speed auto just works. It makes perfect sense, guys. Now, when it comes to the fuel economy, well, this is still a large diesel truck. And as expected, based on my driving, guys, well, my highway fuel economy was able to reach 16 kilometers per liter, which is pretty decent, considering I have a pretty heavy right foot. Now, the city driving, though, is a bit lower. It's around 7.5 to 8 kilometers per liter, depending on your traffic conditions while you're in the city. Now, since I'm mostly in Makati, well, it's more towards the 7.5 rather than the 8. Now, the seat comfort and driving ergonomics of this thing is simply phenomenal, guys. I mean, I love how these semi-sport bucket seats are hugging my average Asian body. I got a decent thigh support here and a good amount of side body support. I got a good amount of bolstering here, not too aggressive, just right. Simply perfect, guys. Now, I would love to take this on a long drive, but we are on the highway right now, and I am truly confident that even if you drive this Ranger FX4 Max on a long drive, like you're driving for like 6-7 hours straight, you wouldn't be feeling too much fatigue because these seats are really, really comfortable. All right, so we have a nice wide open road in front of us, so I'm going to see what kind of power we can get from this 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine. Let's go. We're on sport mode, downshift, and we can hear that engine roar. All right. Oh yeah, wow. This thing can easily pick up the pace. Oh my goodness. Okay, gotta step on the brakes now, because that was a bit too fast, guys. A bit too fast. It's crazy. Whoa. All right. So, yes, as I mentioned in the review, this Ranger FX4 Max is fully capable of bringing the fight to the other lifestyle trucks in the industry. They gotta watch out because that 210 horsepower engine and that 500 Newton meters of torque is so potent that on the highway, it can really deliver the goods, guys. It's freaking crazy. And you guys know how much I love fast cars and fast trucks. And this FX4 Max, yeah, it is really part of those vehicles that would make it in my speed book. You could easily reach illegal speeds in this truck, man. It's crazy, crazy. Overall, guys, well, this Ranger FX4 Max is one truly versatile pickup truck. It's got enough power and drives like a sport truck, and it's enough to satisfy the needs of speed demons like myself. It's got a great off-road capabilities, as you could see in my off-roading video with this beast. And lastly, but most importantly, especially for your family members, well, the Ranger FX4 Max, despite having rear leaf springs, has one of the most comfortable rides that I've ever experienced in any of the pickup trucks that I've reviewed. This is a solid combination pickup truck. It's really versatile, and it could be a lifestyle truck, it could be a workhorse truck. It's everything, guys. I mean, my goodness. This is one of the most perfect pickup trucks that I've ever driven in all my reviews. So does the Ranger FX4 Max make better sense than the Ford Ranger Raptor? Well, it does have a lot going for it, from the higher towing and payload capacities to its smaller footprint, making it easier to drive in civilized roads. Well, not to mention the fact, guys, that the price is much lower than the Ford Ranger Raptor. So while the Ranger Raptor is a pure lifestyle truck that exudes road presence in our small Asian streets, well, the FX4 Max may just be the best combination of off-road performance and rugged utility that you can buy from Ford's lineup. Thanks for watching.